what is the most important estate planning tool? And I think the most important one, frankly, without question, is the durable power of attorney. And that's because durable powers of attorney are needed by 80% of the population that's over the age of 70. It's because 80% of the population over the age of 70 will become incapacitated before they die. And that means they won't be able to manage their finances without someone's help. And so if you don't have a durable power of attorney, you will have to get a guardianship. And a guardianship, or be exploited. I mean, there's always that. So guardianship is not fun. As a guardianship attorney, I try to avoid guardianship at all costs. Everybody hates them. Judges hate them. Lawyers hate them. The people in them hate them. The guardians hate them. They're like the worst thing, but it's the only way to help someone who hasn't done advanced planning by using a durable power of attorney. So, number one, get a durable power of attorney. People always say then, like, well, I thought a will or a trust would be the most important thing. And those things are important. But the reality is that most of people that come to us, or most people in the world, don't have assets that require a lot of estate planning. If you have a house, it can be passed on death by using a pay on death deed. If you have that in your state. Now you may not, so you want to check and see, but we have one in Florida. It's called an enhanced life estate deed. And by using the enhanced life estate deed, you're also allowed to qualify for Medicaid even after you've signed that deed. There's all kinds of really great things about the enhanced life estate deed. So if you don't live in Florida, check with your state to see if you have a pay on death deed option. They're becoming more popular in other states as well. And then the other assets people normally have are retirement assets. Make sure you have designated beneficiaries and contingent beneficiaries named, because unfortunately everybody names their spouse and then we see a death in a fiery crash. Either, we've actually had couples die, mostly in car crashes, but we've had a couple of couples also die sadly in small plane crashes. So just make sure that you have contingent beneficiaries on your retirement assets. And then the other asset is bank accounts. So yes, again, you and your spouse may have each other named and think like, oh, we're covered, it's safe. No, always have pay on death beneficiaries. And the reason for that also is that a lot of times one spouse will die, and there's actually a 50% increase in deaths in the first year after spouse number one dies for spouse number two, especially in long-term marriages. So, you'll forget because you're grieving to put pay on death beneficiaries on your bank accounts. So just make sure that you do that. And then really you've been able to manage most of your assets without having to go through a probate process or use a will or a trust to deal with assets when you die. So if you end up having to do or wanting to do as a safety net a will or a trust, we really don't do trusts for everybody. We do them for people that are higher asset owners, people who are in second marriages, people who have children that have special needs, or children that have issues with money, or they're gamblers. Oh, that's kitty cat and puppy dog. You okay, bud? So anyway, trusts are usually reserved for people also that have assets in other states. Okay, he's fine.